Hello beautiful, welcome back to my channel. My name is Bettina and I'm a makeup enthusiast. In today's video we are doing my long overdue update on my Pan Those Eyeshadows project for 2021. This is my May update. Like I said, long overdue. We're almost all the way through June, but that's all right. I have some progress to share with you and I'm very excited to share with you the progress. I am rolling out, I think it's 3 shadows this month. I know. I'm as impressed as you are. 2 of which are my eyeshadows that I pick, and then 1 of which is a Roulette one shadow. Oh my gosh, I am so close on. So if you want to know how I'm going on everything, then let's jump straight into it. We've had some really good success this month, and we've also had a little bit of a fail, but that's all right. I kind of knew that some of these shadows, when they rolled in and based on the color, that they might take me a little bit longer than some other shadows have been taking me. So it's all good, all good. And this is the color story that I was working on in May. So we'll start off with my Eyeshadows Futurism palette. This is the Futurism 1 Cyber Bronze. Now I am working on the color Plasma, which is this bright silver foil in the middle here. I've only used this once, and the once was today. I've used it on my inner corner. So we're not doing that well, but that's all right. I'll just keep going. There's not much else I can do. It's a pretty color, like, don't get me wrong, it's a pretty color. I've just had like a lot of new palettes come into my collection of late, so I've been opting to like play with them and, you know, use the fun and new exciting stuff as opposed to the stuff that's been sitting in my collection for a while, which, you know, the whole reason why I do this project is to stop that from happening. But, you know, when you get new stuff, you just want to play with it. You can't resist. So if I pair it with, say for example, the Melt Shadow, I think that I could easily layer these two and tone the brightness of the silver down a little bit and kind of like amp up the Rust Shadow. So I feel like these would pair really well together. I just like often forget to layer them over the top. I might try that until I hit pan on the Rust. I might just play around with the color of the one that I'm trying to pan in the Rust palette with this one a little bit, and you know, that way I'm getting use out of both. My next shadow that I rolled in last month was my Inglot shadow sample in 209. This is another one. I've only used this once. This is, again, I feel like I would be able to use this on a semi-regular basis as kind of like a color on the outer corner. I just haven't opted to use this one to wear to work, for example. 1, because I feel like this won't pair well with the color that I'm panning in my Melt Shadow. And 2, I've been really focusing in on my Makeup Geek shadows, especially the deepest one, the one that I wear on my outer corner at the moment, because I feel like I've been getting a really deep dip in that one, and I've just been really wanting to hit pan as opposed to like spread my time, spread the love. Instead of spreading the love, the Makeup Geek shadows have been getting all the love. So this one, hopefully when I hit pan in the Makeup Geek shadows, it might get more love. And if I find something that it pairs well with, it might also get some more love as well. Then we'll move on to my Certify palette. Last month I only used it once, and this month I only used it once as well. So it's taken us to 2 uses in total. The dip still looks exactly the same as last month, which is fine. This is a really pretty color, but you know, it kind of takes over the look when it's used. So, and I have the Eyeshadows palette that I brought this month, the Flower Punk palette, has a color in it that's a little bit similar to this. So even the looks that I've created where this would suit, I've opted to use the one in that palette just for testing out purposes. So now that I've kind of finalized my review and my like thoughts on that palette, I might be able to get back to giving this one some love. Like I said, the new stuff always takes away. It always shines a shadow on these ones. Shines a shadow on the shadows. Melt Rust palette, and I'm working on the color Tarnish, and oh my gosh, this one has such a deep dip in it. I feel like it is only a matter of days. Like, I'm giving it a good inspection just to see if my eyesight is as bad as I'm told. It definitely has, definitely haven't got pan yet, but I feel like it's only a matter of days. Maybe if I continue using it the way I'm using it, maybe like next week or something, I might have pan. Like, I feel like the pan is only a matter of days away. And you can see that the dip is fairly deep, and you'll see in the close-ups that it's even deeper than what it looks. And like I said, I feel like the pan is going to be only a matter of days. I also think that it will be a decent amount of pan as well, because I am using quite a wide brush and the dip is quite wide and deep. Hopefully by the next update, this one will be panned. I've been really enjoying the shadow. I'm actually wearing it on my lid today. It's a really nice everyday kind of coppery brown rusty color. It's a really pretty color, and it pairs really well with just like neutral browns. It's the easiest like brown eye look ever, but it's so pretty, and I've basically been wearing it every single day to work. It's just been like my default look of late, is just that on the lid with my Makeup Geek shadows on the crease and outer corner, and I'm good to go. Speaking of my Makeup Geek shadows, currently working on 3, 2 of which have pan. So we'll start with the one that doesn't have pan. That is my color Frappe here. This has a decent dip. I've been using this basically the same amount as the other 2 shadows, but this one, I don't know what it is. It must be a bit of a different formula, and that's why it's taking a lot longer to get through. It might also be the fact that I'm using a bigger brush and just running this through the crease. That might also be why it's taking longer to get to the pan and get a decent dip on it, because, you know, the brush is a wider brush as opposed to the ones that I was using in the other shadows. Anyway, this does have a fairly reasonable dip, but I think the way I'm going, it might be maybe another like 2 months before I actually hit the pan, which is a little bit disappointing because I have used this a lot. I have used it a lot, and it does have a good dip, but I just haven't hit that pan yet, which is really annoying. I've used this one an additional 14 times this past month, so a really decent amount, but still no pan. That takes me to a total of 44 uses so far on that one, and still no sign of pan. That one will probably be, I want to say it will definitely be well over 50 uses. I'm at what, 44 now, well over 50 uses before I hit pan, maybe closer to 60 or 70 uses. Oh gosh, that seems like so many uses, but yeah, that one, I don't know, like I said, it feels like it's a different formula to the other ones that I've already hit pan on. And I forgot to mention my Melt Rust stack, the color Tarnish. I used this an additional 15 times this past month. So that takes me up to 17 uses. I want to say that by the time I hit the 20 or the 25 use mark on this one, I'll definitely have pan showing on it. So that's all my updates. The rest, being 3 shadows, are rollouts. I've hit pan on them, and I'm very proud of myself. So starting off with my Makeup Geek shadow in Peach Smoothie. This one took me a lot less to hit pan than the first one of Peach Smoothie that I hit pan on. So I don't know what it was, but I will say I hit pan on Peach Smoothie quite early on last month. So I did start working on this one quite early on in May. So because I had basically like 90% of May working on this one before I even rolled it in for this month, and then we're sitting at like almost halfway, almost all of the way through June already. So it basically has a really considerable amount of use on it already. Based just on my uses this past month, I hit pan on 23 uses. As I said though, I did use it quite a lot before I rolled it in as well. And once again, we have a decent amount of pan. Oh, I love seeing all that pan, especially shadows like this that I use to set my like brow bone. I use bigger brushes on it, so there's always like a larger amount of pan on them, and it just makes me so happy. It's so satisfying seeing pan. opposite spectrum of that, the next one has the tiniest little bit of pan. I was almost tempted to just keep this in, but you know, I can see the pan clear as day, and I'm sure that you will be able to see it at least in the close-ups. So I am going to class this one as panned, and I'm going to roll it out. This is my Makeup Geek shadow in Cocoa Bear. Funny thing, I only just hit pan on this afternoon. I came home and like took my base makeup off, redid my base. I left my eyes on, so my eyeshadow is like a full day's worth of eyes being full day's worth of wear. I don't know what that, a full day's worth of eyes, a full day's worth of wear, and then I just ran this under my eyes just to wrap it around, and just from applying the shadow under my eyes is what made me hit pan. So it's a tiny little bit of pan, and I also use quite a small brush in this one, so the pan is really tiny. But I don't know who can there it is, wait for it, there it is. So it is a really tiny small bit of pan. You can see it flashing there a little bit. It's a really tiny amount of pan, but I'm still counting it as pan nonetheless, and I am very proud of myself. It's kind of cute. It's kind of cute, the really tiny pan. It just goes to show the different brushes that I use for these shadows. Like this one I use a really big fluffy brush. This one I use a really small narrow fluffy brush, like a really tiny blending brush, and that's why the pan is so tiny. It's kind of cute. It's kind of cute. To hit pan on that one, I used it an additional 19 times. There we go. So 19 uses on that one, and I managed to get extra uses on this one because there were days that I did like multiple looks in a day, or I took it off, or I only used this one and paired it with another crease shadow, different things like that. That's why I managed to get extra uses on this one. Those two shadows are coming out. The last one that I need to update you on is my Bare Minerals Wish palette, and I do also have pan on this one. Again, it's a smallish amount of pan, but still pan nonetheless. These Bare Minerals eyeshadows, especially in this palette, are super deep, so they take a very long time to hit pan on. But I now have 3 pans in this palette, which is really cool because I do really enjoy the Bare Minerals formula. I think it's a great formula. Oh, can you even see the pan? You'll definitely be able to see it in the close-up, but because this is a shimmer, it's a little bit harder to... Again, gets to go back in my collection. I really like this palette. Like I've said, I think the Bare Minerals formula is a super great formula. Just the ones in this palette take forever. They take forever to hit pan on. The other Bare Minerals palette that I have, the pans are really small. They're like barely wide enough to fit a big brush in them, so it's very easy to hit pan in those ones because the pans are so small. All that being said, I need to roulette one new shadow, and I need to select 2 shadows from my collection to roll in. Generally the ones that I select, so to replace these are 2 that I picked out myself from my Makeup Geek collection, because I'm trying to pan at least like, I don't know, 5 or 6 or something in my 2 Makeup Geek palettes this year. Let me get my spreadsheet up, and I will say I have finally updated my spreadsheet to include the new palettes that I have. Even the new palettes that I purchased last month, the ones from Kaleidos and the ones that I've purchased this month, have been added to that spreadsheet. So you might see like a brand new palette rotated into the new spot. Okay, so I have my Pretty Random app here, and there are 125 possible options in my spreadsheet, and I'm going to randomize a option here, and we have 17, which is my Urban Decay Solstice eyeshadow. That's actually a really pretty eyeshadow. I am going to go get that, as well as my two selected ones to replace my 2 Makeup Geek ones, and I will be back in a second. This is the Urban Decay Solstice eyeshadow. I think that I will actually be able to use this basically on the regular as like my lid color, because it's like it's kind of like multi-chrome, duochrome, but it's quite subtle. So I think on the lid this would be a really nice color to pair with other colors that I already have in this project. And then for my 2 Makeup Geek replacements, so I've decided that I'm only going to replace one of the Makeup Geek shadows with a Makeup Geek shadow. So I'm going to replace Cocoa Bear with the color Bitten, which is like a reddy burgundy color. It has some brown to it. I think this will be a nice color as like an outer corner color that I could use. And then I'm going to replace Peaches and Cream, Peach Smoothie, with one of my Inglot shadows. This is the color 330, and I think that this will be a really good color to use just to set my, you're not even going to be able to see it, it's literally like the color of my skin tone. I'm going to use this one as a color to set my eyeshadow primer. So yeah, like it's basically the same color as my skin. I haven't panned any of my Inglot shadows, so I'm interested to see how long it takes me to pan them. But yeah, if I'm using it like every single day, I'll probably get a decent dip in it fairly quickly. So those are the shadows that I am currently working on. And here is a picture of my color story for the month of June. Let me know how you're going on any shadows or palettes that you're focusing on at the moment. While you're down in the comments, make sure you like this video. You can also subscribe to my channel down below. You can join my membership, and you can also applaud this video if you like. That's it for this video, beautiful. I hope that you're having an absolutely fantastic day. I hope that you're staying safe and healthy and looking after yourself, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye, beautiful.